Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Irvine International Academy regularly scheduled board meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. I'd like to do a roll call. Molly?
Present.
Philippe?
Present.
Brett is present. David is absent. Okay, next we'll move to the approval of the agenda. Approval of the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on June 23rd, 2026. Recommend the Board of Directors approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on June 23rd, 2026. Is there a motion?
I'll motion so.
Thank you, Philippe. Is there a second?
I'll
Thank
second.
you, Molly. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Moving to community input on closed session agenda items. Members of the public may comment on items listed on the closed session agenda only. Public comments, including emailed comments, shall be limited to 3 minutes per comment, up to 20 minutes of public comment. Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to closed session for discussion and possible action. This includes a conference with legal counsel regarding existing litigation, Irvine International Academy versus Irvine Unified School District, and then the case number that's listed. We'll be having a conference with real property negotiators for this particular site. We should reconvene, I think you said 45 minutes? Is that right?
Yes.
Something to that effect?
Yes.
And we'll see you all later. Thank you very much. Okay, we are reconvening. The time is 6:49 p.m. Thank you all for your patience. No action was taken or decided upon at the meeting. We would like to report out, though, that our esteemed board member David Sun joined us at 6:40 p.m. Okay, next we'll move to the very important flag salute. Do we have any volunteers?
All right, I'll volunteer.
Do we have one? Is it okay if
Somebody
someone
be,
does it?
please, Molly.
Okay.
Ladies
Please
first.
stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll move to community input on agendized and non-agendized items. Public may comment on items listed on the agenda, including consent calendar, presentation, discussion, committee, and action items. Public may also comment on items not listed on the agenda that are within the legal purview of the Board of Directors. Any public comments?
There are none.
Thank you. Moving to items for consent. We've got 2 items. A is approved minutes from the regular board meeting of the IIA Board of Directors on May 19, 2026. And B is personnel report. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve consent items A and B. Is there a motion?
I'll motion so.
Thank you, Philippe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. We'll take a vote here. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Moving on to items for presentation. School update. Principal Schmitter.
All right, well, good evening. I'm going to give you some updates. A lot of my updates tonight are going to be related to items on the agenda, so we'll kind of go through that. First update I have is the Student Family Handbook. It's on the agenda for you to approve tonight with both a redlined and a clean version. Most of these updates were to align with new board policies that have been passed. An example is the mobile communication device policy that was passed just last month. Another example is taking an independent study program and line it up with our handbook in terms of our board policy and practices. So just to make sure that what our parents see, what our parents read, what our parents agree to are all in alignment with our policies. Another update made was specifically with the dress code, and that is to be very more specific. So if a lot of our younger students do a great job, as the students get older, dress code becomes a little bit more iffy. Older kids always trying to find ways around it. So we've cleaned up a lot of that language, and the rationale behind that is that, as you know, if we do come to the point where we do have to share our campus, we want to be able to distinguish our students from other students. and dress code would be the easiest way to do that. So we're going to be amping up our dress code enforcement, but in order to do that, we want to make sure our dress code policies were very clear, so our students couldn't find those loopholes to kind of work around. So it's on the agenda if you've read through it, but it's redlined. But those were the main updates in the family student handbook. Another thing that you'll be seeing tonight is our food services contract. So the last 2 years we've worked with Fresh Start, but as you know, there's been feedback about the quality of our food and from our vendor, and so we took that feedback and we put it out to bid in this past spring. And on June 2nd, there was a tasting that took place with staff and students. I believe there was about 15 people involved. We also contacted references provided by each of the vendors in terms of, how they've worked with them, just the reliability. Because we want quality food, but we also want reliability. The food quality only goes so far if they can deliver it to you on time. So we checked those references, and based off all the feedback, funny enough, the group was Revolution Foods. And if you don't know, Revolution Foods was our former provider before Fresh Start. And a lot of the feedback we heard, just in general from other schools and also the company that we work with to go through this process, is that our current one, they've had issues with them, and Revolution Foods in the last couple of years has stepped it up. So that's up for your approval tonight. Our current provider, Fresh Start, they will continue through July 3rd, which is the end of our summer program, with Revolution Foods kicking in on the first day of school. So Mario Escalante was involved in this process along with our new nutrition specialist, Brian Yo. You got that, Brian Yo, to work this out. So that is on the agenda as well. There's also a couple curriculum adoptions. So as you know, that we've been doing our curriculum pilots this year. So just going to give you a final update on that. So math curriculum, TK through second grade, there's been no change. We'll remain with Singapore math. Our committee that worked through this really saw the quality of the Singapore math program in the younger ages. They also saw the gaps in the older elementary ages. So that's why we are adopting Cengage Math and U for grades 3, well technically it's 3 through 8, but we're doing 3 through 5 Math and U with Singapore math. Because a lot of our families want the Singapore math, they want that enrichment, the higher level, so it's going to be used more for the higher level enrichment component. And then we'll be using our Math and U curriculum for that standards-based instruction that was lacking in the Singapore math before. And then for middle school, we were never using Singapore math. They did review it, but the middle school program is not strong. So they're currently using HMH into math, and Math and U will be replacing that. So our grades 3 through 8 will now be using the same math program. And the contract that you'll be approving tonight is a 3-year contract. So the price you'll see is for 3 years of the program, so it's not a single year. And just to kind of give you perspective, this 3 years of Math and U is what we pay for 1 year of Singapore math. So it's the curriculum itself, Singapore math is a very expensive curriculum. So in the long run, we'll be saving money. All right. Second one was our science curriculum. Our K through 5 is currently using Twig, but again, the implementation was very weak. A lot of that had to do with our instructional model of 50-50 and not allowing for that clear integration of science. So part of this process, that's what we've worked with our staff, feedback from parents. So that way, this upcoming year, we're very excited about it. We have a clear model for our teachers in terms of what subjects they're teaching and for how long to kind of guide them through that. So that way we can ensure that our dual immersion program is effective and it should be implemented the way it is. With that, the curriculum that was selected is McGraw-Hill Inspire. And that was selected too because that is the program that's going to be the most, it's going to be the one that's most effective in teaching both English and Mandarin. Because it has very distinct components to it. So our science will be taught in both English and Mandarin, and this is the curriculum that will allow us to do that. And again, the price you'll see on there is a 3-year contract. Just some other updates. So we are currently onboarding our new PE teachers, so we're ready to go for that. We're excited. We actually have our new ed specialist being onboarded. And then since I've made this, we're actually onboarding our new 5th grade teacher as well. So we're excited about that. It's a teacher who has about 6, 7 years of teaching experience and teaching experience in a dual immersion school as well. So very, very strong. So we're good. We're happy. And then the last round in terms of staffing will be our instructional aid interviews coming up this next month. All right. I know it's a lot of information in 7 minutes. Do you have any questions? Want me to go over anything else?
I do have a question about
Yep.
food service. Did you say that it was the same program we were using previously?
Yes.
Did they improve their packaging of food?
They've improved their whole program from what we've been told.
The number one problem last year with the food program was the packaging of the food.
Mhm.
The way they packaged it with the plastic on top, it melted in our warmers.
Okay.
And that was the number one complaint from the kids and the parents. So was the packaging shown? Did they serve the food in the packaging? Have we seen any of that?
I know they did have the packaging, but I don't think they've tested them out in warmers. But all the warmers have the same, temperature that they have to raise to.
Mm-hmm.
If that does become an issue, we will let them know. But from what I understand too,
That
they're
was-
very responsive to concerns. And I think before it was there was no change. And I think from what we were told is that's been the biggest change with them, is that they are willing to change what they do.
Can we find out for sure what's in the packaging? I want to see the packaging.
Yeah, would you say last year, you mean 2 years ago?
Yeah, before these guys.
Okay, so last year would have been 23, 24.
Right.
Okay.
So we just want to make sure that we didn't just go back to our old problem.
Yeah.
Right? And the complaints of the parents. There was big problems
Okay.
with that.
Yep.
So, including my kids complain about it all the time. I saw it firsthand. So we want to make sure we're not going back to that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay, moving next to fiscal report, 25, 26 estimated actuals and 26, 27 budget. Mr. Wassel, are you there?
He's joining right now.
Hi, Mr. Wassel, can you hear us?
Yes, can you guys hear me okay?
We can hear you. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Okay, we are at your item, which is the fiscal report, 25, 26 estimated actuals and 26, 27 budget. So you have the floor.
Great, thank you guys. So my name is AJ Wassel, and I'm with CSMC, the back office provider for Irvine International. So as stated, this is the estimated actuals along with the 26, 27 budget. So I'll go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. Are you able to see my screen okay?
Yes.
Great. So this is the official document that goes to Orange County. Now, I will go through this budget fairly quickly and then as well go through the more reader-friendly format of the budget. So I'll go through this first and then the official document. This is a little bit more reader-friendly in terms of the breakdown, but I'll still review both of them. So reading left to right, first column on the left is the second interim. So this was approved back in February, March, and that was a net income of about 1.3 million. What we're currently projecting for the year is a net income of about 1 million. Some of that, as discussed in prior meetings, is due to some deferred revenue, so using revenue for future years, and then as well some unbudgeted substitute expenses. Now the 26-27 budget is based off of 679 students enrolled and 645 ADA, and that net income is expected to be about 1.5 million. Now, why the change? Really, because of the expected increase in enrollment in ADA, that would cause the net income to increase from 1 million to 1.5. So expenses are expected to increase as well, but also the revenue increases due to the increased enrollment in ADA, and that's the main driver for the school's funding. Any questions on this page here for the 26-27 budget or estimated actual or second round?
Just a question on the, what's the percentage that you utilized in terms of the attendance rate? Is it 95%?
I believe so, but I can confirm. Yes, it is about 95%.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the, apologies, any other questions on the 26-27 budget before going to the official document?
No, we're good. Thank you.
Great, so this is the official document that will be sent to Orange County. A couple differences here. It is broken out between unrestricted and restricted funds and unrestricted and restricted expenses. So that just means, for example, anything that is tied to a fund such as Title I will go in a restricted column and the expense to go along with it. And then anything that is unrestricted, those are usually your general funds produced by enrollment and ADA. That would go in your unrestricted columns, and your unrestricted expenses would also go there, which are expenses covered by general funds. So nothing specific on the use of those expenses. So this is the 25-26 estimated actuals on the between columns F and H, and then your 26-27 preliminary budget from columns I to K. And this is just a breakdown of the revenues, and then a breakdown of the expenses, bringing it out to the net incomes that we saw on the reader-friendly format of the 1 million net income and then the 1.5 million net income. Any questions on this before continuing on to the next tab, NYP?
Please proceed.
Great. So this is the multi-year projections. And so the county requests out years for the school to project. Now I'll say for these out years, year 2 and year 3, it is very high level. It's not necessarily that the school is locked into these budgets. If they're approved, once they're approved now, those can still change over time. And obviously, there is time between now and 27-28 and 28-29. So these are high-level projections requested by the county, and the main takeaway here would be that the school would expect a continued increase in enrollment in ABA, and therefore would be able to sustain a healthy net income. Continuing on to the object code. So this is a breakdown of some of the 5800s. These are operational expenses between unrestricted and restricted. And then the cash flow over 26-27, with the school ending in a healthy place of about 2.2 million, and that could increase over time depending on the accruals that the school receives. So not all those funds will come exactly in June of 2027. Some of those are deferred based on state funding, and so column Q is for June, and column R includes those funds which are deferred, which most of them are received in July the following month. But per state funding, they're delayed. So any questions on the cash flow for 26-27?
All loans are repaid at this standpoint, right? And no cash flow is going to paying
Yes,
loans off anymore?
this is correct.
Okay.
Great. Continuing on to assumptions, these are various assumptions for the enrollment that was used in the NYP, along with the ADA percentage and some of the student counts. Again, this is high-level projections. A lot can change as these funding rates do change over time, and once the budget is fully approved by the governor, these rates will be locked in for 26-27, but future years, those will continue to change as those budgets are developed.
Do you have the TK bonus?
Yes, I believe so. About 5,000 for 26-27, 5,700.
So you have the LCFF rates, and but you started grades K through third. Are we not actually paid for TK? Just the bonus?
Oh, no, we're paid
Yeah.
88 plus.
Where-
You get the TK bonus as well.
Why is it not show TK for the LCFF rates?
I see, why isn't it included on top of this? So this is for the additional, in a sense, this doesn't go lumped into that. So this includes, for example, TK through 3, and this add-on is just for the TK.
In some of the reporting that we have to do, TKK is lumped together. But for the reporting where they will calculate the additional ADA, then it's just TK. I do several reports also that are just TK only, then some put TKK together. For example, in 88, 80 grade spans, they call them both K. So I don't know if that answers the question, or AJ, if I...
So, right, so you would get this for your TK through 3, and then on top of that, ADA, let's say this is 100, you get 100 times that, and let's say 10 of your 100 is TK, you'd also get 10 times this 5,700.
So it says grades K through 3. Are we
That
saying?
includes TK through 3.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so any questions on the official Orange County documents?
Just a general question, the fact that is that a typo that we missed the TK, or we don't, it's assumed? Because I'm curious, this is a document we submitted.
It's,
so-
my assumption is that it's assumed based off of the county document. So this is the official county document.
This is a county
that is
document,
sent
yeah.
to the school,
Their template.
and they'll have these rates as
Okay,
well. So
okay,
I think it's assumed.
okay.
Great, and one final call out with the budget overall. The school is expected to end with a healthy fund balance based off of the net incomes for the year. So the school entered the year with a $796,000 net income, and based off the estimated actuals with the $1 million net income, the school could end the year with a fund balance of $1.8 million. Obviously, this is just an estimation. The unaudited actuals will be in September, and then the audited actuals will be in December, January. But this is just to show that the school is trending in the right direction, and then continuing on even to 26-27, rolling that over of 1.8 million to then include that additional net income would leave the school at a fund balance of 3.4 million for the end of 26-27.
Okay.
Just a general question. AJ, you said the audited actuals are in December, right? Is that what you said?
Yes,
So
December, January, yeah.
December, January timeframe. And prior to that, there's an estimated actuals? Is that what you said? What was right before?
Right. The unaudited actuals.
Oh, unaudited actuals.
Right.
Okay.
So the books will be closed in August, September, and then they have to go through the audit process. And then once the audit process is complete, that will be provided to the school to review and approve the audit in December, January.
But what goes as the preliminary budget to OCDE is the estimated actuals? What goes?
Right.
That's what goes to them, right, at this time?
Yeah, so the step-by-step process would be first is the estimated actuals, that's the current step we're at right now. Then the unaudited actuals will go to OC, and then the audited actuals.
Yeah.
So in this document as well, I'll pull up the document.
Okay.
So we have the projected fund balance based off the estimated actuals, and then come August, September, this will be updated with the unaudited actuals, and then in December, January, it will be completed with the audited actuals. So it's just more of a timing of when those are released, and those are all provided to OC.
Right. I just wanted to get a feel for how many more budget steps there were before we got to the audited actuals. Right. Thank you, AJ.
Right. No, totally understand. There are a lot of steps.
There's a lot of
each
steps, yeah.
Periods. Yeah.
Before I start celebrating with the 1 point,
Yeah.
what is it, 1.8? 1.8, before I start celebrating about the 1.8.
Right. Once the audited actuals are completed, that will be the number that's officially locked in for the school as of the end of 25-26.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Great.
That's all I have.
All right. Thank you
And
very
that's
much.
all I
yeah, please.
have for presentation if there's no other questions.
Please continue.
Oh, sorry.
That's
That
the
is
end?
all I have for the
Yeah.
presentation of the 25,
Okay.
26 estimated actuals and the 26, 27
Perfect.
budget.
Thank you, Mr. Wassel. We appreciate your time.
Great, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have the local indicators with Dr. Henry.
All right, to stay on time, I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes. There really isn't a lot of new information here. This is something that is done every year, and a lot of this data has been presented in different ways to you, and in different time periods. So this is a requirement, and it is required to present the local indicators in a meeting, the same meeting where the LCAP is approved, which will also be approved later on this evening. What the local indicators are things that need to be measured that can't be measured by state data on the dashboard. So for example, it is required that we have parent and family engagement, but a test score, attendance rates don't measure that. So they say, find another way to measure parent and family engagement. Find another way to measure school climate. And then they give us things to fill out to do that. And that's what we're approving because this will be on our dashboard. So again, the local indicators are presented to the board. It is an information item only. What I'm telling you is that we have assessed ourselves in all of these different ways. So the first priority that we are presenting to you is called basic services, and that's where the staff of IIA, we look at our data that about our facilities, about our number of teachers, and is anyone teaching out of field, etc. So the data for this year is that all students have access to materials, to curriculum. We had 0 instances according to the FIT report where our facility did not meet the standard of care. We have 28 total teachers. We had 1 intern teacher. And then we had 0 teachers this year teaching out of field. So that's great for priority 1. And again, this data will be uploaded to the California School Dashboard. Priority 2 that we need to look at is they look at our curriculum. Basically, how are you doing in the areas of implementation? So they have questions here. And if you look at the rubric that I have on the bottom, a 4 is full implementation, meaning we're doing it, and a 5 is like we're doing it and we're sustaining it. We have 5s and 4s pretty much across the all of these questions because we have worked really hard to fully implement standards-based curriculum in all subjects. So for English, ELD, mathematics, science standards, and history. And the difference between a 4 and a 5 would just be that some we've had implemented longer than others. The second page, we're looking at like professional learning with these curricula areas, other questions, how trained are your staff, and other things like that. I will say the area where we gave ourselves 2 3s, which was the lower score, was rating our progress of implementing the standards adopted by the state, because we really want to take, and again, this is just a self-assessment, we think we're in initial implementation for PE, really implementing state standards. We want to work on that more. And then also visual and performing arts state standards. We are beginning to look at some of that, but we don't have a fully sustained art program. But you can see everywhere else, we've made a lot of progress. Also, this is the last page also of priority 2, which is the implementation of the state standards. Going on to priority 3 is parent involvement. And we go through and we rate ourselves on communication, building relationships, are our teachers building relationships, staff, admin, do we ask for parent input and so forth. So we have rated ourselves 4s and 5s, again in the area of building relationships. When it came to asking for input and also communication, we feel that that's an area of strength this year, that we've added 4 advisory committees on top of all of our other meetings this year and held them regularly and pretty well attended. So we did give ourselves some credit for that, as well as our parent survey showed a very strong increase in communication this year. And we've heard it anecdotally. And I know it skips, but priority 6 is so priority 5 would have been test scores and other things. We just have these priorities out of order that we have to get approved. So priority 6 is school climate. And in this question, they ask really 2 questions of us to reflect on. Do your students feel safe? And do your students feel like they belong? So we use the survey questions, and that's why those survey questions are in that survey. And you can see here that in our student survey, 97 86.4% of our students were positively engaged. And then the parents, just to see if they had a little differing opinion, they were 92.6% felt their students were engaged. As for positive, is there a positive school environment? 87.1% of our students had positive feedback, and 96.7% of our parents did, very high there. For student safety, students reported 90.3% felt very safe and positive, and parents, it was 95%. Do students feel like they belong? Again, we had high, with the high 80s for students, and parent survey was 96%. Facilities condition is always a little bit low because of bathrooms and things like that get dirty throughout the day. As I did say in the previous slide, we met all of our requirements though for our having fit facilities. And then students liking school was a little low with 65.5%, but I remember presenting this data last year and I wanted to note that it was 8% higher than it was last year. So we're making some improvements. And not all kids like school every day, but I think they do like it overall. And then priority 7 is the last priority, and this is a description that we have to assess all the ways that we let all students have access to a broad course of study. So what do we offer? And I can tell you we offer English language development intervention. We also offer Mandarin language development intervention for our non-native speakers. We offer PBIS for behavior interventions. We are adding MTSS, which is a multi-tiered system of support, which is an umbrella. We're adding that in next year. We have a strong student study team process. If a parent feels a student is struggling, they can call Mr. Fernandez and Mr. Schmitter, and they have a meeting and bring teachers together, and we kind of wrap around and come up with plans and services for students. Those are even outside of special education in the 504 process. So we do all of these things so our kids can all access school and to help them be successful. So those are the local indicators. Again, it's an information item for you to know that we have done a self-assessment in all of these areas. And then I upload this into the dashboard and it shows we've met our requirement. Any questions?
I have a quick one. Go ahead.
You go ahead.
So, I noticed that the PE educational standard, right, they were working on that. So that's been communicated to our new PE staff, right?
Yes.
They're gonna know that they're gonna be on our self-assessment, so we're looking to see if they can.
Yes, and there was quite a bit of background in those areas, which has helped us to make our selection. Again, we had 65 candidates apply, and we really were looking, the questions that we were asking both at first round and second round was about knowledge of standards, implementation of standards, differentiating for different students with different needs. All of those questions were part of our process.
Okay, great. Looking forward to that next year.
I am too.
And I know you're going over the local indicators here, but honestly, all you gotta do is stand out in front of them in the morning and watch the kids come in and say, "Why don't we?"
Yeah, they do. And then our 8th graders that left keep coming back.
Yeah.
They came back the next day.
You can't get rid of them. You can't get rid of
So I think they feel like they belong
They wanna
too.
be.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. That's the biggest indicator to me, those two things. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else? Yes, Dave.
Yeah, I noticed, priority 2, ELA, Common Core Standard 5, and however, ELD aligned to ELA standards as a 4. And below that, next generation science standard 4. And can you explain a little bit more, about why these two categories are 4 instead of 5?
Yeah, the reason why the implementation of the next generation science standards was a 4 was a little bit related to what Mr. Schmitter presented, that our curriculum wasn't fully implemented for a few reasons. One is we are a dual language immersion model, so there was a little back and forth of who's doing it. So we did a lot of work even before we picked a science curriculum of what the model's gonna look like and defining it. and presenting it out to our staff, which we're going to continue to do with the Week of Welcome this year. And so we feel like we've started with science curriculum. It's really strong in middle school, but we still need to improve how it works in a dual immersion model, which is on our radar, but we want to leave some room for improvement.
Yeah. Because one of the hallmarks of IIA, so we have a strong science, strong math, right?
Exactly, and we're a
You wanna
STEAM
see
school.
Yeah, in all these categories, so we really kind of stay at the top
Yeah.
level.
I think part of the process of this is really to truly reflect on your practice, and I think we can do better,
Okay.
even though we are strong and our results are strong. Yeah, absolutely.
If you don't mind, I have one more question. And in the priority 6 or 7, school environment survey, the students are liking feedback. I read it going up. Last one, students' feedback is 2/3, 65.5. I mean, is that something you want to address a little bit?
So I'm trying to follow where we are. So priority 6,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, students. The last one.
the students use where we will.
Yeah, for students' feedback is about 65.5% positive.
Yes, for students liking school.
Yeah. That's a 2/3.
Yeah, it is lower. Historically, it's been lower. And I remember last year it was 57%. So we've shown improvement.
50% increase.
I think the way the question is worded doesn't allow, I wish it was like, I mostly enjoy school, right? Like, most of the time I enjoy school, because I don't think that the kids enjoy school every single day. And that's why it is a little bit lower, but some of those questions on the survey have to be used for the local indicators, so they are worded that way on purpose. But yeah, we'll continue to make sure they love school.
So the students, in general, don't offer any kind of explanations and
No, not. They have the opportunity to, but they generally don't. But if you look at all the other questions of, is IIA a positive school environment? Super high. Are you engaged? Super high. Do you like going to school? Not as high. Yeah. And of course, yeah. I mean, I loved going to school. I never left. So, but some of our kids, it's not exactly the same. But it's something that we'll continue to work on.
Okay. It would be interesting to find out,
Yeah, exactly.
What aspects you like, what aspects you...
We actually do ask that. It's just not required for this. Like,
Okay.
we asked questions on like which classes do you enjoy going to most. We got great feedback on that and presented that to our staff. Some of the feedback we had on the classes.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very
Thanks so
much.
much.
Okay, next we'll move to the board member interviews. The IIA Board of Directors conducted first round interviews in open session with 5 candidates on April 28, 2026, and additional 4 candidates on May 19, 2026. Governance Committee held a meeting on May 22nd, 2026, and 3 candidates have been invited to interview in a second round this evening. Discussion and nomination, if any, will be held during open session. So, just a reminder to the board members here, this is just the interview section. There will be a later section during open session where we have an opportunity to nominate should someone choose to do so. So thank you for joining us. Can you help to please confirm your name?
Jason Millar.
All right, Jason, thank you
I
for
will
joining.
say, as it relates to the local indicators, parent involvement, I've never been part of a group chat of parents that are so active in that thread. Sometimes at the end of the day, there's 100 messages of parents just interacting with each other and supporting each other. So
Thank you for that, and thank you for joining us this evening. Some format similar to the last round one that we had. Basically, we have 5 questions here that we'll ask versus 7 questions before. So 5 questions here. I think we have 10 minutes set up. Dr. Henry's going to be our timekeeper. I believe you have the questions in front of you
Yes.
as well, and then we'll just go in order and ask you in order if that's okay.
Yes.
All right, Molly, please.
Alright, question 1. A parent group is strongly advocating for a change that the administration does not support. As a board member, how would you approach this situation?
I think it's important first to hear both sides and hear both sides with empathy and make sure the parent group and the administration kind of understands where each group is coming from. Ultimately, as a board member, I believe that our duty is to the long-term success and sustainability of IIA. So whatever decision contributes to that success is what I would, how I would approach that situation. And then I also think as a follow-up, it's important for either the administration to follow up with that parent group, to give them an explanation of why that decision was made, to just always have a good line of communication between those 2 groups.
Thank you.
Okay, question 2. If the school faced a budget shortfall, what principles would guide your decision-making, and how would you prioritize where to make adjustments?
I think obviously data-driven decisions are important. I think I mentioned in the last interview, I do believe IIA being a distinguished school is important to the brand. So whatever programs contribute to that brand is, I think, what needs to be prioritized. And then whatever programs that don't necessarily support or just are not an asset to that brand, we'd have to take a closer look through data-driven results.
Thank you.
Question number 3. If a student outcomes were not improving over time, how should the board evaluate and respond to school leadership?
So I do think this is where my background as a former teacher might help provide some context or understanding to the board. But first, I do think, though, that the board's duties are, for one, fiduciary stewardship, supporting the executive director's decision, and governance. So I do want to make sure, like, I'm not overstepping into some of the day-to-day stuff that the administration is responsible for. I think, for one, I would get guidance from the executive director as to what she believes are the problems, and then give her the resources to execute that. I think it's also important to also, again, see data-driven results and conclusions of what was before and what it is after. So that's how I would approach it.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Felipe.
Board services require meaningful time outside of meetings, example, committees, events, preparation. How would you realistically commit your time, stay actively engaged, and would you be willing to join board committee?
I'm all in. I've got no other affiliations or obligations except taking my kids to whatever extracurricular activities they have. So I do think I can produce at a high level and contribute and be involved in events and committees. I do think I have the expertise, being in real estate for 15 years and specifically in finance, to provide that level of support and understanding. So I'm all in for it.
That's great. Thank you.
All right, last questions. tell us about a time that you had to make a decision that was unpopular but necessary. And what did you do and what did you learn?
So in my 10 or 15 years of tenure leading my department in real estate, obviously I've had to let go a handful of employees that just weren't meeting our expectations. They were popular employees within the company, so culturally it was a hard decision. Again, I do think it's important to do your due diligence and making sure that you're making the right decision. Sometimes people need time to grow, so you need to just understand if that person is worth investing. I'll also say too that there's been a lot of times, this is separate from letting people go in my department, where I've had to go against what like my executive team, the president, the CEO of our company would want to do strategically, either within operationally or within our portfolio of assets. I think what's important there is, first you've got to have a reputation within the company so that the executive team knows that this person is of the highest quality, ethical, and analytical standard. And I do think you have to have the social capital within a company, within a group, to have support for those decisions that are being made. So I think when it comes to making tough decisions, I think having a solid reputation and the social capital within that organization and group kind of helps navigate through that difficult process.
Thank you.
I feel like I finished that pretty fast.
Yeah.
There's 3 minutes and 35 seconds, so if the board has additional questions, that's been our previous practice.
Any add-on questions to anything that was mentioned?
I don't know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll definitely circle back.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you mind giving the questions to Mr. Schmidt on your way out, or? That's good, yes, thank you. I'll see if our next candidate's here.
I wasn't sure if you were here yet.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Hello,
Okay.
Howdy.
how you guys doing this evening?
Good to see you.
Yeah.
All right, so similar format. This time around, we have 5 questions instead of 7 questions. And we have 10-minute time frame here. And then we will carry on our discussion during the open session a little bit later on. So if you don't mind, we'll go in order here and ask a question at a time. And at the very end, if you wouldn't mind returning your questions, I would really appreciate it.
Question 1. A parent group is strongly advocating for a change that the administration does not support. As a board member, how would you approach this situation?
Well, I know that whenever anybody strongly believes for something, then it's important to understand their perspective. And parents are, they're the people that decide where to send the kids and if they're going to send them to the charter school. So I think it would be, number one, very important to make sure their voice is heard, to have a lot of empathy and understanding and trying to truly understand the parent's perspective. But then as a a board member, what I would have to do is step back and see if this is even a situation where I should have any say. If it is an operational issue, that's the administration's job. Really got to understand where the administration's coming from and making sure to hold them to the outcome, whatever the outcome is, making sure they're doing a good job of producing an outcome that makes everybody happy. If it's board policy, then that's something where then I get together with the board and see if that's something where the board could make a change or not, depending on what the parents want. So it would be a multi-step process. Number one, empathy with the parents, understanding their perspective, why they want it, and then evaluating if it's an operational or board role. If it's operational, then the school leadership is there for a reason. They're to run the school. We are to support them in that. If it is a governance policy issue, then that's where the board then needs to make a decision. But that's how I would approach the issue.
Thank you.
If the school faced a budget shortfall, what principles would guide your decision-making, and how would you prioritize where to make adjustments?
So the number one principle would be to make sure that we do not lose our vision and mission to build dual immersion students that are global citizens, right? No matter what we do, cannot lose sight of that. After that, I'm a revenue guy, so hopefully we can think of ways to generate revenue to plug the gap. And then after that, you'd have to review expenses that maybe are not aligned 100% with the school's vision and mission. So that would be kind of the process I look at. Protect the school's mission of the dual immersion program. That's what makes us unique and special. Maybe think of ways to raise revenue, and then cuts that perhaps don't align entirely with the vision and mission of the school.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Question number 3. If student outcomes were not improving over time, how should the board evaluate and respond to school leadership?
Well, number one, I would see if the school leadership understands what the outcomes should be, and then if they feel those outcomes are achievable. So that's the number one step. We don't want to have outcomes that are not achievable. After that, if they understand that they're not achieving the outcomes that are desirable, then we have to go through the process of evaluating the process. And maybe they look at the process and they say it just needs more time, or they see the process and they say we'll make some tweaks. But after evaluating the outcomes, look at the process, and then the next step would be to manage and have updates, breaking up the outcomes perhaps into steps that we can monitor on a monthly or quarterly basis to see that progress is being made towards the outcome. So too much time doesn't pass before it becomes too late to fix.
Thank you.
Welcome, Tom. Board service requires meaningful time outside of needs. Example, committees, events, preparation. How would you realistically commit your time, stay actively engaged, and would you be willing to join board committees?
So for me to join the board, I see it as a fiduciary responsibility. So whatever committees you need me on, I'm there for all board meetings. I would definitely be prepared, reading the material, ready to give my feedback. I do understand I'll probably feel like I have a part-time job, but for the mission of the school, I'm willing to take that on. The only thing I'll say is, depending on events, that's the only thing I could make. For me to say I would do 100% would be lying, but board preparation on it, committees on it, events, I'll definitely do my best.
Thank you.
So, sir, just to follow up on that, so what percentage do you think roughly you'd be able to make? We do post the board meeting schedules so you can see what they'll be for the year, and then if if there's a conflict, we do try to accommodate and move dates. Like, do you have some idea?
Oh, for board meetings, my goal would be 100%.
Okay, okay.
When I said the events, that's where like,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I just wondered.
Board meetings, 100%. The
Okay.
events, that's what I
Thank you.
like. If you guys have decided to have, daily events, I can't promise.
No,
that.
no, no.
Yeah.
Thank you, I just wanted.
Tell us about a time you had to make a decision that was unpopular but necessary. What did you do and what did you learn?
So, when I first started at my bank, where I'm the CEO right now, about 9 years ago, we were losing $2 million a year. We were under enforcement actions. The bank had never made money. So when I came in, I had to make a lot of tough calls. I had to do a lot of restructuring that people were not happy with. I had to reposition people into different spots and change goals. And those were very tough decisions. But what I learned is that if we treat people, all the stakeholders with respect, have transparency, then they will respect and accept the decision. So that's what I learned, to give that respect for everybody, transparency, and also to the decision, own the decision. If you don't own the decision, then people aren't going to respect it. So now my bank we're doing pretty well. So that's how I can have time to come and hopefully serve on the board.
Thank you.
Hopefully a lot of decisions are tough decisions.
We have 2 minutes and 19 seconds if the board has any other questions.
Yep, I have some questions. So yeah, working as an executive and serving as a school board is a little bit different. Okay. I can tell you that. So a lot of times, there might be, really earlier you responded, your goals to be 100% available, for the board. A lot of times it's really, really tough. You mentally prepared, if selected to be a board member, new board member, you mentally prepared to make a commitment.
Yeah, I'm prepared to make a commitment. Fiduciary responsibility to be a board member, I take it very seriously. It's like on many other boards, I've never missed any meetings, but I wouldn't do something. That's why I asked before what day the board meeting was on. I had a meeting every month for my bank, and it's on a different day, so we could have fall on different Tuesdays.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll follow up.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to items for discussion and possible action. Item A, approve 2020.
Did you want to read?
Oh, sorry, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
We got some.
Yeah, you're right, okay. So, I appreciate the reminder, thank you. Okay, so for our third candidate is not here in person, they're traveling. And so they submitted a candidate statement that I will read out loud. Okay, this statement is by Mr. Sang Park. I'm honored to submit my application to serve on the Irvine International Academy School Board. My connection to IIA is both professional and personal. As a parent of 2 children who will be attending IIA in the fall, one entering 8th grade and the other 5th grade, I'm deeply invested in ensuring the school's continued success and academic excellence. This dual perspective allows me to approach board service strategically and a clear understanding of how policy decisions directly impact students, families, and educators. I'm aligned with IIA's vision of cultivating lifelong learners and engaging global citizens, and I fully support its mission to deliver a bilingual, biliterate education through Mandarin immersion and a rigorous STEAM-based curriculum. As a board member, I would actively help shape policies that strengthen this model, support continuous academic improvement, and reinforce IIA's standing as a California Distinguished School and a top-tier charter school. I believe policies should not only ensure compliance, but also drive innovation, accountability, and measurable student outcomes. My professional background in regulatory compliance, safety programs, and risk management has prepared me to contribute meaningfully to board governance by helping develop, evaluate, and strengthen school policies in key areas. I bring working knowledge and experience in corporate workplace violence, prevention planning, and harassment prevention, which positions me to advocate for clear, proactive policies that ensure a safe, inclusive, and respectful learning environment. By strengthening these policies, I would support the social emotional development that is central to IIA's mission while ensuring consistent expectations and accountability across the school community. Additionally, I have received training in corporate environment, health, and safety protocols, including heat, illness prevention, and incident reporting systems. I'm well positioned to help shape policies that prioritize student safety through prevention, transparency, and continuous improvement by ensuring that safety procedures are clearly defined, regularly evaluated, and consistently implemented. I've also been trained in the use of an automated external defibrillator, reinforcing my commitment to emergency readiness and rapid response. Furthermore, I bring hands-on experience in emergency preparedness and facility emergency action plans, which I would apply towards developing and strengthening policies that establish clear emergency procedures, effective communication standards, and routine drills to safeguard students and staff. From a governance perspective, I have a strong understanding of corporate risk policies and procedures, as well as FERC standards of conduct, including strict confidentiality requirements for managing sensitive, non-public information. My experience also includes familiarity with corporate accident prevention manuals, enterprise privacy programs, corporate cybersecurity requirements, and corporate expenditure policies. In addition, my recent service on the IIA School Side Council has deepened my knowledge of IIA's budgeting and policy development processes and requirements. Together, these experiences position me to effectively shape policies that safeguard student data, maintain transparency, uphold high ethical standards, and ensure operational consistency, digital security, and responsible financial stewardship. Having interviewed over 100 candidates at Southern California Edison, I developed a strong understanding of the skills, competencies, and practical knowledge employers expect in today's workforce. As a board member, I can leverage this insight to help guide and shape policies that ensure IIA continues to prepare students with these critical capabilities, aligning academic programs with real-world expectations and evolving workforce demands. I would be proud to serve the IIA community and contribute to building a strong policy foundation that prepares every student to thrive as confident, capable, and globally minded individuals. Due to a scheduling conflict, I respectfully request that this personal statement be considered in lieu of an in-person interview. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, Sang Park. Thank you again to Mr. Sang Park for submitting this, and hope his travels are going well. So we don't have questions to have asked him, and due to the policy and procedure here, we did not submit the questions in advance. But please feel free to make any notes as you would like on any of the rating sheets related to Mr. Park for his consideration as a board member. You could just let me know when you're all ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. All right. Thank you again for the reminder. Moving on to the items for discussion of possible action, approve 2026 27, Local Control and Accountability Plan, LCAP. The Local Control and Accountability Plan and annual update provide details regarding actions and expenditure to support pupil outcomes and overall performance pursuant to California Educational Code sections 52060, 52066, 47605.5, and 47606.5. California Ed Code section 52060 requires the governing board of each LEA to adopt the LCAP and annual update using a template adopted by the State Board of Education. LEAs must also ensure that educational partners were consulted in the development of the 26-27 LCAP and were also provided information regarding the annual update. LCAP goal action, all LCAP goal and actions, funding source, LCFF, budget, financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item A. Any further comments?
I did want to share that all the items in the LCAP were aligned to Mr. Wassell's budget. So we worked together. It was the actions and services in the LCAP that were reflected there. We also did increase our spending on the library. Thank you, Mr. Sun. We increased it to $10,000. It actually aligns with some other, initiatives that we're thinking. So that was a really good reflective area. And then the only other change was we had Mr. Wassell did do some work on the financial tables at the end of the LCAP, but the gist of it stayed the same since my presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Is there a motion?
I'll motion so.
Philippe,
I see.
all right, Molly, thank you very much. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. It passes. All right, moving on to B, approve 26-27 school budget. IIA is required by law to adopt a budget for the 26-27 fiscal year no later than June 30th, 2026. The final budgets for 26-27 are based upon revenue assumptions outlined within the governor's May revised, as well as school-specific assumptions for revenue and expenditures, and will incorporate expenditures listed in the local control accountability plans. LCAP goal action, all LCAP goals and actions, funding source, all funding sources, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item B. Any comments?
No, the same items for this are what was presented to you earlier.
Any questions?
Yeah, just cutting it kind of close, aren't we? June 30th? That's close.
Yes, it is approved every June.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget.
I'll second.
Thank you, David. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Sorry, did you say aye?
Yes,
You
did I?
okay.
Yes, I thought I did.
Did you? Okay, I didn't hear it, sorry.
You could do it
So
again if you want.
all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, moving to approve appointment of new IIA board member. Per the IIA bylaws, IIA has a standardized process of selecting a new board member. In the event of a vacancy, the board selection timeline includes a request for application, screening process, and interview sessions that take place during the open sessions of a regularly scheduled board meeting. During the board meeting, a motion for a vote on a particular candidate must be made in order to vote on that candidate. An affirmative vote by 51% of current board members that are present at a quorum-filled board meeting will appoint the new board member.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, what's up? Per the IIA bylaws, each IIA director serves for a term of 4 years. LCAP goal action not applicable, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item C with the term ending June 2030. There is no requirement to nominate someone, just so we're clear on that. And we talked about nominating one person or inviting one person to join, so we can have multiple nominations and go through the voting process for each.
So, so today, so we're not required to make a decision, or we can make a decision.
So,
Okay, tell me.
so someone can nominate someone,
Okay.
so that would be, so we go through the nomination process. Someone would need to second it.
Okay.
If seconded, then we would vote on it. If there's no second, we wouldn't vote.
So, yeah, so the conclusion, so we got enough for interview, right? The interview process is done.
It's done at this
Okay.
point.
Gotcha.
Now, if we aren't successful in nominating and voting on someone, then we could do another
Round.
another.
Yeah, can I make a comment? Yeah, so based on the 2 rounds of interview, I think we see enough evidence, especially from today. I'm personally strongly impressed by Mr. Fan.
Can I do it?
Can I finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
can I
ahead.
finish? Yeah. Yeah, for a number of reasons. I think he got enough, very solid executive leadership role, and he demonstrated that. And he's a very good communicator, very clear mind, very clear mind. In answering all the questions, this is the kind of the questions I expect. It's not a perfect in most of the cases from the first time, this time, but that's the closest. Personally, I run business, so that's kind of the person I expect. So I would like to nominate Mr. Fan.
Okay, so you're making a motion, David's
I'll
making
make
a
a
motion
motion.
to nominate Mr. Freeman.
I will second that
All right,
nomination.
Philippe will second. So we will make a vote on it, and unless any further comments?
Can I make a comment? I want to make a comment before we go forward. I gotta say that it never surprises me how intelligent our students are at the school, right? I mean, it's just every day, I see them and they're innovative and they're just incredible. And I realize that's because, not only from the teachers and the school and the environment, but it's the parents behind those kids. And never have I seen that even more now that we've gone through these nominations. All the parents, incredible. They're professional, their responses, when they're here, I see why we have IIA, why we have the students we have and the successes we have. It all comes from the parents. So any one of them, I pretty much would be proud to serve with them. So I just wanted to get that in the record that they're incredible. All of our candidates were very strong.
Very good. Want to follow up on what you just said. I mean, there are a few other candidates are very good. Okay, very good. Saw either the personal statements or through the discussions. But since right now, if we want to make select one, my nomination would be Mr. Fan. Okay. I'm truly impressed by Mr. Fan, and previously we had no interaction. I don't know him personally, but in my conversations with him, I can see he's committed. He shares the vision and the vision and mission of IIA, and I challenged him. You're going to make a commitment. He said yes. I'm impressed. Okay, I like that. So my nomination goes to Mr. Fan. I will make a motion.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? I too would like to echo and express gratitude to all of those that interviewed and went through this process. We were all very encouraged by the number of applicants and the quality of the families that make up the school, so I'm in total agreement. Okay, with that, we will take a vote. All in favor for Mr. Pham being a new IIA board member, at least being extended that invitation, we'll have to accept. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. And it passes. So we will be sure to communicate that to him. I will let all of the candidates know the result of that entire decision.
May I share? So with the nomination, our hope is that if accepted, at the July meeting, we will have an oath of office. We're going to level up a little bit, and so have him take the oath of office as a new board member. And then also, it is part of the plan to do some onboarding meetings to talk about school budgets and things like that behind the scenes. So that's all going to be part of the process as well.
Thank you, and a special thank you to Molly for participation in the governance committee, and Henry for helping to support it. Okay, moving on. Moving to item D, ratify the facilities use agreement between IUSD and IA for the 26-27 school year. IA submitted a request for Proposition 39 facilities for the 26-27 school year pursuant to Ed Code Section 47614 and Title V of the California Code of Regulations, Section 11969.1 through 11969.11 as amended. The proposed 26-27 Charter Facilities Use Agreement by and between Irvine Unified School District and Irvine International Academy with 3 less classrooms than available in 25-26, as well as shared spaces and those that will be utilized by IUSD. LCAP Goal Action, Goal 2, Action 7, Funding Source General Fund, Budget Financial Impact expensed $396,605.16. Recommend the Board of Directors ratify action item D. Any comments?
No, not at this time.
All right, is there a motion? I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay.
I say nay.
So 3-1, it passes. Okay, moving on to approve the Proposition 28 Arts, Music, and Instructional Materials 25-26 Annual Report and 26-27 Annual Plan. On November 8, 2022, California voters approved Proposition 2028, the Arts and Music in Schools AMS Funding Guarantee and Accountability Act. The measure required the state to establish a new ongoing program supporting arts instruction in schools beginning in 23-24. Local education agencies must approve a plan and an annual board report in a manner determined by the superintendent or executive director that shall be posted on the LEA's website, and that details the type of arts educational programs funded by the program, the number of full-time equivalent teachers, classified personnel, and teaching aides, and the number of pupils served. LCAP Goal Action not applicable. Funding Source Proposition 28 funds. Budget Financial Impact $78,306 already reflected in the 26-27 proposed budget. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item E. Any comments?
This is a routine item for the board for the last few years, and we receive about enough funding to cover our music teacher, which it is always preferred that a percentage go to staffing, so we put it all towards staffing of our music teacher, and it helps to offset the regular budget.
Is this recurring, recurring, right?
Yes, so each year we have to talk about how we're going to spend the money next year, which is going to be on the music teacher, and then how did we spend it last year. And AJ put together the financial document that we then, once the board approves it, we just post it to our website. But because the funding is about the same as a staff member, if there was any extra, we do write in our plan that we would put it towards the STEAM program. So
this was already reflected in the current budget.
yes, as well as the last budget.
Other questions? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All right, with you, Molly. David, your second?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Approve the renewal of IA's insurance through Charter Safe for the 26-27 school year. The Charter Safe insurance renewal proposal for fiscal year 26-27 program year includes insurance coverage for general liability, excess liability, commercial property, workers' comp, crime, excess crime, directors and officer employment practices liability, fiduciary, cyber liability, and student accident. LCAP Goal Action not applicable. Funding Source General Fund. Budget Financial Impact $186,105 already reflected in the 26-27 proposed budget. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item F. Any comments?
Yes, this is the same company that we've used at IIA, at least as far back as I can see the board agendas. And I fill out a full packet of answering questions if there's any changes about any of our circumstances. And then in comparing this to last year, we It'll be about a $19,000 increase for the entire year, and that is with our increase in enrollment, significant increase in enrollment. So I felt that this was very fair, very similar to what we've had. It just increases that we're going to have more students and more staff. And just for the board's peace of mind, I guess, I took the proposal with the facility use agreement and how all the insurance lines are lined up, and this exceeds all of the base insurance that we need for our facility use agreement and other agreements that we've signed. So I wanted to make sure we were covered.
And which insurance company?
Charter Safe. I can say one more thing too. When a few of us went to the charter conference earlier this year, we met with Charter Safe and asked if there were ways, sometimes if you do certain trainings or we require certain things of the staff, we can get a lower rate. So we've already started, and I will say our director of HR has attended several trainings. And so they did say the more trainings that we go to, we can get points, which would help to eventually lower our rate. And so we are working on that this year, so hopefully we'll see that reflected next year.
So every time when we, the board approves, it goes, it's annual, right? It's for 1 year.
Yes, it is annual, and it's actually quite an extensive process for us to, for them to put together the proposal to verify everything, and we have to submit documents and show that we haven't had any material changes. And so going through that, they then develop the proposal, and which is then approved in June of each year, and then if the board approves this, then we will submit all of our paperwork to show that we are covered.
What is the percentage of increase, premium increase over last year?
I didn't look at the percentage, but it's a $19,000 increase. So last year was $167,000, $437, and this year is the $186. So it's not a huge increase, especially because insurance prices for everything are raising so much. I looked at that specifically, but then also it takes into account we will have additional staff to cover, and we will have additional students.
So I know we've been with them, I believe we've been with them since year one. I think they've been partners. But my question is, have we ever gone to market?
That is not a question that I know of the answer, but I can find out, and if that is a priority, we can definitely look at that with the year moving forward. When we talked about the Charter Safe, kind of how it works, and then when we spoke with them about how to lower our rates, but we also kind of looked around at some other charters, and we felt that it was in line, but if the board is interested, we can definitely do that this year moving forward.
Part of the process.
Yeah.
Part of the process. Also, since we're members of CCSA, right, is there, I'm not sure, is there sort of bulk discounts or something, you know what I mean, that are maybe offered to groups?
I see almost like a piggyback, not that I'm aware of, that I haven't seen any type of piggyback deals coming out of CCSA, but we're definitely open to that. A lot of times those have to do more with facilities, and because we pay rent and don't have to pay for our own facilities, there are not as many opportunities for those piggyback type of contracts, but we're not, our mind is open to them if we see one come our way.
Just curious. Okay, any other questions, comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second? Thank you, Molly. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, G, approved contract with Rev Foods. IIA partner with School Food Solutions to conduct a competitive procurement process for a school food vendor for the 26-27 school year. As part of this process, IIA hosted a food tasting event on June 2nd, 26th, during which prospective vendors provided meal samples for evaluation by students and staff. Following a comprehensive review process that included feedback from students and staff, as well as reference checks for all prospective vendors, IIA recommends awarding a 1-year contract to Rev Foods PBC to provide breakfast and lunch services for the period of July 1st, 26th through June 30th, 27. The total cost of this contract will vary based on student enrollment, participation rates in the meal program, and the type of meals ordered throughout the contract term. Funding for meal services will be supported through applicable federal and state child nutrition program reimbursements, UP Goal Action, Goal 2, Action 6. Funding source, general fund, budget financial impact will vary based on enrollment and participation, not to exceed $319,351.70. Recommend the board of directors approve action item G. Comments?
Yes, I did want to make sure I pointed out to the board that there is a reimbursement program. I did ask staff if they could do an analysis of how close our reimbursement was to our spending last year. But really, it is 100% reimbursement unless we over-order food. We only pay for those that are not consumed by students, so it is minimal. And I will say Mario and his team do a really good job monitoring the orders and then the menus. And also, I would say, Mr. Schmitter, with the rest of the team, we also are very aware of when field trips are, because less, kids won't be eating, or even if there's a school party or an event where we won't consume as many, so we don't have as much overage. But I would say close, I'm gonna get an exact number. The staff did not have that ready, but it's something we wanna look at. But there are reimbursement programs that we participate in for 100% of the meals.
Questions?
I want to add, again, I want to talk about the quality of the service of the food, and particularly how it's packaged, the packaging quality. This has been a problem in the past. It was one of the reasons we switched, is because a lot of the parents and the students complain that the way the food is packaged and then it's warmed in our warmers, it melts the top of the packaging onto the food. And that's why we had to switch. So I want to be sure that we're not having, I know we're going back to Revolution Foods, but did anybody specifically look at the packaging of the food and the way it works in our warmers? Because that's a big deal. That's a step that I know. I know the food the way they served it, because I was here, and unfortunately we were busy that day with, I think we were doing tours or something, I can't remember. But I was not able to 100% participate in the tasting, but it did not appear to me that they were showing us how that the food, the way it was actually packaged. So I don't know what we can do about that. I don't want to hold up this contract, but I want to know, is there a way we can go back to them and find out what's going on with that?
Well, I can say that we know that Revolution Foods is under new ownership and has been over the last few years. And so, but if there is a specific issue with our warmers and packaging, that is something that I will direct staff to follow up on immediately and make sure that that we.
I'm going to say I feel so strongly about that. Is there a possibility we can defer this action until the next meeting, until we know for sure?
We will need this approved by July 1. We did ask. Luckily, Fresh Start is going to cover our summer school snacks and breakfast through the rest of the year. But I can't, if our next meeting is July 19th, which the board has not approved yet, that's our next board meeting.
What do you think, Brett? Tell me something.
This seems like a logistical thing we'll have to work out. I mean, there's a food safety issue if the plastic is melting on the food.
Right.
So I think that's unacceptable. We can't.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. So
I don't
this
think
is
it should
something.
hold up the contract.
I think it's something that we will communicate and make sure that that's not an issue with the way that the food's packaged.
Yeah.
and that how we process it, right? Because once they serve it to us in the packaging, they don't warm it. They provide it in the packaging, then we are the ones who do that end of it, right? And so they may not know that that's how we do it, or maybe they have recommendations or something. But I'd like to know more about that. Can we?
And I can definitely have the board, I can definitely have a board update. We actually have one due this Friday. We'll do a complete board update this
Okay.
Friday, and so we'll make sure, I'll have Mario reach out and look at packaging, and we can even talk about the issues that we've had 2 years ago to make sure that there is another option to get around that.
And just to wrap this up, I did speak to Mario about this during that day. It was something that I told him about at that time, so he may already check it, right? He may have already looked at it, but
Yes,
yeah, I
that's
would like
true.
to know more about that, so.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? It's just a general question. I think with Fresh Start, it was a 2-year contract, is that right? And this is a 1-year, I'm just curious. How long was Fresh Start? As long as a 2-year, or was
It was renewed again last year.
it? So we are renewing every year?
Yes, so
Okay,
I
so
saw
no
Fresh
difference.
Start was on last year's June.
Okay,
Yes, it was a 1 year with the option to do a second renewal, but
Okay.
it was brought to the
Okay.
board in the June meeting,
okay.
because I looked at
So
that.
the melting issue, the continual melting issue is not with the Revolution Food, it's with the Fresh.
No, it was with.
With these guys?
Yeah, these are the ones we had previously, right? Yeah, that's why we left these guys. That was the specific reason. And we went to Fresh Start because the packaging is different, right? And it's certainly stronger. Maybe they can do a similar packaging, you know, so let's find out.
Okay, has anyone communicated with them to ask them to, you know, potentially change the package or something?
Well,
Use different
I don't
material?
think, I don't know.
Not that issue, but I will say we called references and several charters to find out quality, reliability, quality of food, how their program has improved. Because in some of our reference checks, there were several, well, I will say I know of 3 charters that used Revolution Foods, went to Fresh Start, started to have a bad experience and went back to Revolution Foods and has been very happy. And so that was the feedback overall. There's also, I'll say, another charter in Irvine that uses Revolution Foods and has had a really positive experience. Also, one thing that Mr. Escalante shared is that that the quality of their food and kind of like the cultural piece around their food and offerings is also very well aligned to our school and what our kids already prefer when we look at menus.
Oh, you mean the Revolutionary Foods? Yeah. The Revolutionary Foods.
The kids
menu.
like it?
Yeah, but I know that too. They liked it, but they didn't like that it melted on top of it.
Got it, yes, we will definitely follow up.
I know, that's true.
Okay, is there a motion?
I motion.
All right, Molly, is there a second? I'm happy to second. All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
So 3-1, it passes, but Mr. Delgado's point is noted.
Yes.
And we obviously
We will
need to put
definitely follow up.
priority on that. Okay, moving on to H, approve 26, 27 bell schedules and instructional minutes. Per California Educational Code 46200 to 46208, schools must provide minimum minutes of instructional time based on grade levels. The proposed bell schedules and instructional minutes adhere to these minimum requirements. LCAP goal action, not applicable. Funding source, not applicable. Budget financial impact, not applicable. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item H. Any comments?
I don't have comments unless the board has some questions, and Mr. Schmitter is here as well to, if there are any questions that you'd like addressed with the new schedule. There were some slight changes to middle school and just the times, but not to, nothing material. because we still are bound by the same instructional minutes. I will say to the board, if our situation changes and with our facilities and we need to adjust bell schedules or instructional minutes, we will bring that back to the board.
Noted. Any comments? Questions? Is there a motion?
Our motion, we approve the bell schedule.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Next, I approve the proposed meeting calendar for 26-27 per the IIA bylaws. IIA Board of Directors must adopt a regular board meeting schedule at its annual meeting. The meeting calendar must also be submitted to our authorizers at Orange County Department of Education by June 30, 26. The schedule should ensure compliance to educational code. Approval dates for items such as the LCAP and budget. LCAP goal action not applicable, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item I. Any comments?
I recommend we send a copy of that to Mr. Fan. A copy of the bill, a copy of the board meeting calendar to Mr. Fan.
I will say, this has been shared in a few board updates for the last few weeks, but also I followed the same formula that we've been following, which is the third Tuesday.
Yeah.
And also looked at all of our other calendars and dates and holidays coming up. So kind of transposed it on top of our other calendars to make sure it would work. And then again, you shared earlier, if we need to move board meetings, we're usually pretty flexible with that.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I'll motion so.
Thank you, Philippe. Is there a second? Thank you, Molly. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. J, approve the 26-27 Irvine International Academy Employee Handbook. IIA Employee Handbook has been updated to reflect current policies and procedures and include relevant updates to state and federal laws and regulations. LCAP goal action, goal 1, action 2, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item J. Any comments?
I do have notes of the material changes. I do want to say that you have a red line version and a clean version, and this has been thoroughly reviewed by YMC, by our legal team. And so most of the material changes are really just changing, strengthening language, aligning it with current laws. Nothing, the only real material revision is we wanted to tighten up our vacation leave eligibility and limit that to 11 and 12-month employees because we had seen some discrepancy in the past, and we wanted to make it fair across the board. So that was the only material changes. Other than that, they were just kind of language that was necessarily, that our legal team reviewed last year and had the time this year. We submitted it much earlier so they could give us those language changes.
Okay, any questions? All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Molly. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. K, approve the 26-27 Irvine International Academy Student Family Handbook. IIA Student Family Handbooks updated annually to meet compliance standards and to ensure alignment with current local, state, and federal regulations. Will distribute and publish the Student Family Handbooks to ensure transparency and compliance. LCAP goal action, goal 3, action 5. Funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the Board of Directors approve action item K. Any comments?
I think Mr. Schmitter talked about this in his update, that the board has probably noticed there's been some new policies that we've been required to do, and one of the things that's in the forefront of our mind is making sure that our handbooks reflect current board policies, our safety plans reflect that everything aligns. So, and then also, I think he stated, we have decided as a team, for several reasons, that looking at our dress code policy, was going to be really important moving forward.
Questions?
I guess that's gonna be announced to the parents coming in, right, at the,
Absolutely, in our
Yeah,
presentations.
emphasize.
And we're also looking at if we can, a possible secondary vendor that might be able to help with some of our kind of logoed items. We haven't committed to anything yet, but we have someone who is willing if we do have the need. Because some of the issues, I will say a personal favorite of mine is a sweatshirt that I think students can use sweatshirts to get away with not looking like they're in dress code. So if we have IIA options available, then that helps, to keep it cleaner. And I think a lot of our families come here and they do respect that we have a strong dress code, and so we'd like to make sure that that is monitored. And there's options for children.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, so.
Thank you, Philippe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Molly. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Approve contract with Cengage Learning Math and New Curriculum. Several mathematics curricula for grades TK through 8 were piloted during the 25-26 school year by IIA teachers. The IIA Curriculum Advisory Committee, consisting of IIA staff and parents, met several times to discuss the mathematics pilots and progress. Additionally, a survey regarding the mathematics curriculum was developed by the IIA Curriculum Advisory Committee and sent to all IIA families using the input and feedback. IIA selected to keep Singapore math for grades TK through 2nd as the core curriculum and adopts Engage Learning Math and U to use for grades 3 through 5. At middle school, teachers selected this curriculum for several reasons, including materials for an accelerated pathway for middle school, intervention materials at all grade levels, and alignment with the California mathematics frameworks. IIA will continue to utilize Singapore math for grades 3 through 5 as a supplementary text and to use with advanced learners. Curriculum is being displayed and available for review by families. The cost for the 3-year adoption is $54,842, including professional development for teachers and administrators, teacher materials, and student materials. Outcome goal, action goal 1, action 11 and 12. Funding source, LCFF, budget financial impact, $54,842, reflected in the 26-27 budget. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item L. Any comments other than what's already been said?
Yeah, I think we've already presented on this.
Questions? Is there a motion? Thank you, Molly. I'm happy to second. Take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, approved contract with McGraw-Hill, Inspire Science California Curriculum. IA staff piloted several science curricula during the 25-26 school year for elementary science. IA leadership also reviewed best practices for teaching science in a dual immersion model to strengthen our science program and instruction. Curriculum Advisory Committee, composed of parents and staff, is updated each month on the process and provided valuable feedback. McGraw-Hill's Inspire Science recommended for adoption because the format of the curriculum works well with our Coach Hop model in English and Mandarin. Quality of the hands-on science projects in alignment to the next generation science standards. Curriculum is being displayed and available for review by families. Cost of the 3-year adoption is $47,626.92, including professional development for teachers and administrators, teacher materials, student materials, and science kits per grade level for hands-on science activities. LCAP goal action, goal 1, action 11, funding source LCFF, budget financial impact $47,626.92, reflected in the 26-27 budget. Recommended the board of directors approve action item M. Any further comments?
No.
Questions?
Okay, so this is, again, for 1 year, right?
This is a 3-year curriculum. The kits and materials are, is that right, Mr. Schmitter, are 1 year? We went back and forth.
Just the kids.
Oh, we were gonna do those separately. So these are 3 years of the science materials, hardbacks, things like that. Yeah.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Philippe. All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, approve new BP 5141.75 weather safety. Senate Bill 1248 led the California Department of Education to initiate the writing of extreme weather guidelines, including best practice considerations related to extreme environmental conditions that may impact people's safety during extreme weather. Additionally, SB 1248 and Educational Code 3355B require that each local educational agency develop, adopt, and implement protocols prior to July 1st, 2026 that incorporate the standardized CDE guidelines and detail the specific measures to be taken during extreme weather conditions. IIA has also developed a page on the website to communicate weather protocols and best practices with IIA families. LCAP Goal Action, Goal 2, Action 5, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended Board of Directors approve action item N. Any comments?
I will say that with this board policy has been on our radar for a while, but we had to wait. We waited until Gamut, our new board policy system, gave legal language, and we followed all of the legal protocols. The website that is discussed here, we're actually finishing some formatting pieces, but it will be launched, and it goes directly with the board policy, but it's a way to communicate to our parents. And included in this policy is extreme heat protocols as well as air quality in case there is a fire or something in the area. And it's very clear on how we respond to those weather conditions and what physical activity looks like in those in each of those conditions.
Questions?
I'm a little surprised they didn't have these protocols already.
Hmm?
Is this an update to those protocols? I'm a little surprised they didn't have protocols like this.
We did not have a board policy, and it was required by school districts as of July 1 to have a policy. The protocols are going to be, the CDE gave guidance of the protocols, which will also be included on our website, and then we will kind of map it out, almost like an if this, then we will do this. So if the heat is here, this will be our protocol. I think it'll help our staff as well to know what our response is, and then it'll also help Mr. Schmitter, because if there is, let's say, an air quality, he can refer to the website, send it out to parents so they know how we're adjusting our practices that day. It'll define everything very clearly.
So how about for non-extreme weather? Let's say it's just raining. I know that, you know, it's been pretty good in the past. If it's raining outside, we bring the kids in. Do we have an actual policy on that, or that is a act of kindness?
It's more of an operational practice of what we do. We always will start the year with what is our rainy day protocol? It's pretty straightforward at most schools that there is a rainy day schedule, a rainy day. So you've already created all of those schedules, and that way the school is able to shift. And then it's both Mr. Schmitter, but also Mario will put out operational emails to all of our teachers, and it'll shift even throughout the day. Like I'll see something that'll come out at 10 o'clock and say, due to excessive dew on the playground and grass, we are going to shift this to this, and he calls out the protocol, and the teachers are pretty good. It's just a good operational practice.
Okay, yeah, because it gets, just as a parenting drop-off, it gets a little, I think sometimes it's tough, let's be honest, okay? Because the rain maybe comes a little bit later, or maybe it's not a full rain, maybe it's just a slight drizzle, and so you don't know where to park. Are you,
Oh, I see.
you know, are we doing drop-off at front, or are we gonna go on the journey and find parking somewhere way yonder, only to find out that we're not lining up outside, that we are gonna come in? You know, so I don't know if there's anything in the handbook or anything on our website informing parents about what the protocol is, if it's raining by a certain time that day, or if it rains the night before, or whatever it
We
is.
can include it in our orientation.
What's that?
We include our orientation.
Oh. Yes, so during orientation, we do, which is the Friday before school starts, we communicate a lot of those practices, different drop-off places. But I think if the question is, when do we make the call of, we can try to, I mean, obviously things will always shift, you know,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
will do the best we
Yeah.
can, but we can come up with our own kind of practices of how or when we make the call and how we communicate that.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about it, but like, we just send out a parent square message in the morning. I mean, if you go inside.
Yeah, and if it is raining, then all traffic is directed to the front office here, or, you know, sharing space, how that's going to be. You know, because some parents, they do walk or they drop off in other locations that are not by the front office, and none of the doors are open. And that's a school safety issue, but I mean, even for the teachers to maybe have the door open for, you know, up until the time in which the bell rings, right? So some standardization, some process. It's just a thought, I'm sure.
We can definitely look at that. We do know with our facilities, we're going to have to really look very carefully at what all of those practices look like. But the board policy is very, very standard, and it comes from California Department of Education.
Okay.
Defining different heat measures and those kind of things.
All right, is there a motion?
I motion that we approve.
All right, Philippe, thank you. I'm happy to second. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. All right, approve revisions to BP 4119.24, maintaining appropriate adult-student interactions. Senate Bill 848, which became effective January 1st, 2026, is a broad legislation intended to enhance student safety by preventing childhood sexual assault at schools. SB 848 requires the governing board of districts and charters adopt written policies that promote safe environments for student learning and engagement, that address professional boundaries and establish appropriate limits on contact during or outside the school day that do not otherwise include a student's parent or guardian. IIA had previously approved board policy titled Staff and Student Interactions. The title of the policy has been changed to meet the new legal requirements, and new compliance language has been added. LCAP Goal Action, Goal 2, Action 5, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item O. Any further comments?
There is a redlined version in the board policy as well as the final, but I can tell you, so this one also has been vetted through legal, and also we worked very carefully when our director of HR was working with legal on this handbook, because we needed to make sure all of these align. I would say one of the biggest changes from being staff-student conduct is adult-student interactions, because we will also be adding this to our volunteer handbook. And also there are new requirements now for families to volunteer to kind of raise that threshold so that it's any adult on our campus and not just staff to students.
And it's referenced in the handbooks, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
So
we made sure
that policy,
it was everything in the policy was written kind of side by side with the staff handbook. And
the volunteer.
and there were a lot of workshops, actually, that, like webinars that we went to, because with this new law, several pieces had to all make sure they aligned. So the safety policy, the volunteer handbook, the board policy had to be updated, the employee handbook. So we made sure that we were learning, it's been going on for months, to make sure that we met the legal threshold.
Okay, is there a motion? Thank you, Molly. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, P, approve early childhood education practicum agreement between Irvine International Academy and California State University Dominguez Hills. California State University Dominguez Hills requested that an early education practicum agreement be approved for Irvine International Academy to become a potential placement site for students enrolled in their early childhood education programs, especially students interested in dual language immersion program. LCAP goal action, goal 1, actions 2 and 17. Funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item P. Any comments?
Yes, this was initiated by a staff member, as many of these are. So we do have a staff member in IIA who is going to school at this school and she's taking early childhood. And so when the request was made that we set up an MOU so this staff member could spend some hours when she wasn't working in our classroom, they came to visit our program because we do not have a preschool, we have TK, and they said, well, sometimes we make exceptions. So leadership from the college came to visit our TK program. We're so impressed. They're like, if we have other students, can we have them come because you have a dual immersion? And we'll take that on a case-by-case basis, but it was initiated to help benefit a staff member who's trying to further their education.
Any questions?
So this, is this a volunteer program or paid program?
There's no pay, and
No
this
pay.
one is less of a threshold than the ones that you've approved in the past have been more for student teaching. This is just a practicum class and observation hours. If we were ever to have a student teacher, it would be a different MOU. This is their early child development program, and it's a practicum class. So that means the kids taking the class can come and observe our teachers. Of course, the teachers have to be willing. It's free, not paid, and then it's just a general agreement for that.
Do we have any responsibilities? Any responsibilities of potential liabilities or anything?
No, I mean, we have to show that we have insurance, but that's part of this, which we do. This one is much less of a responsibility than the student teaching. It's just that we're going to allow them in the class. They're allowed that they will be cleared so that they're around our kids, that the managing teacher can talk to our teacher about how the student's doing. Those are the types of agreements.
So what do we get, out of this? Just in addition, other than offering them opportunities to observe, to learn.
I actually taught in a class like this at Cal State Fullerton for 7 years, and I think what we get is it's very important to identify and allow new teachers to learn from our practices. We get word of mouth with colleges, we develop strong relationships. It helps if we ever need to hire. We kind of get to also see people in classes, in other agreements, student teachers ahead of time, and kind of grow our own. I see so much benefit in partnering with neighbor colleges, but we control it. If it were ever a student teacher, we would interview the person just like we would a staff member. We wouldn't just let anyone come, but it really does help to develop our reputation and our name, and it strengthens our practices. It also helps our teachers when they're working with teachers, young teachers as well. It's a win-win all the way, in my opinion.
So, from a teacher point of view, I actually have quite a lot of student teachers come into my classroom. Some for a couple of weeks, like once or twice a week, they will come in. And so as a teacher, actually, I enjoy having them because sometimes they help me I ask them to organize my file cabinet, but at the same time telling them these are how I set things up. In the future, you have your own classroom, you can do that. And sometimes I want to have a small group, and they can help me to handle a small group, reading group and so on. So you were talking about what do we get? I think our teacher get a chance to work with the young teachers.
Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll motion, so.
Thank you, Philippe. Is there a second?
I second.
We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
I said aye.
You do? Okay. Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. All right, approve revisions to IIA bylaws and articles of incorporation and delegate authority to execute CalSTRS Form 0765. CalSTRS notified all charter schools that they must complete and submit Form 0765 by June 30th, 2026. Certification requires confirmation that IIA's governing documents contain compliant dissolution language regarding the distribution of assets upon dissolution. To ensure compliance, IIA staff consulted with legal counsel. Based on council's recommendations, revisions have been made to the IIA bylaws and a certificate of amendment to the articles of incorporation. Revised documents are presented to the board for approval. Recommended the board of directors approve the revised IIA bylaws and amendment to the articles of incorporation. Authorize the filing of the amendment with the Secretary of State and authorize Dr. Stephanie Henry, Executive Director, to execute and submit CalSTRS Form 0765 for IIA and any related documents necessary to implement this action. LCAP Goal Action, Goal 1, Action 2, funding source not applicable, budget financial impact not applicable. It's recommended the board of directors approve action item Q. Any comments?
This is a legal requirement. The only revision to the bylaws, although you do have a red line version in regular, is CalSTRS is, they are coming up with quite a few requirements. And so this is going through legal everywhere. All charters are required to do this. And this piece that we had to do for this item is in our bylaws, we had to write some additional language that if we ever closed, what we would do with our assets. And they're requiring that. And so Mr. Delgado, there is a copy of the revised bylaws. If this passes, then I would need your signature on that, as well as the board secretary, as well as a signature on the certificate of amendment of the articles of incorporation. They're also attached to the board agenda items so all board members can see them. Then if you also approve me to sign the form, I would sign the form. This would all be sent to CalSTRS and we would remain in compliance. That really is all that means. It's very complicated, but again, we have legal counsel as well as our back office providers providing us guidance on this for this meeting.
The only comment I have, this is the actual document that I have to sign. I noticed there's a cross out here on the document itself. I wonder if that's irregular. Is that okay to do that in this document? That it has, this is the actual document I'm
This
signing.
was the one that was on the website. I don't know that it is, I can look at what page on the one on the website. It could have just been a printing, but unless, I can't see what you're looking at, if it was, if it was a darker font print, or if it's an actual
No, it's
process.
actual change. It says Chief Financial Officer. It's changing who is all transactions, who's in the crisis
We don't have
account.
a chief financial
Yeah,
officer.
so it's actually crossed out. It looks like a change. Treasurer and financial. So, yeah, they may have missed
That was not
this.
a change that we made for
Yeah,
this
it's from
go
before.
around.
Never
I think
done.
those are our previously approved ones.
Can we approve and we sign this, or this correction?
You can initial, yeah.
Can we just correct this and then I sign it later?
It was
I think
already approved. That one was already.
that one's already approved like that. But since you are, since you're
It's
approving,
already approved. When you say already approved, why am I signing it then? I have to sign
This
it.
one has the new edits.
this one
Yeah,
has
so it
some new
has the
language
edits in
added
it.
about the dissolution.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'll be more than happy to sign.
But I'll make a
it. I'm
note
so
that, I
concerned
remember
here.
when these
You
were
can
approved, it was,
initial,
I think, one of my
just
first
initial,
board meetings
yeah.
here.
That makes it look like I changed it. So.
Thank you, and thank you for noticing that. We'll make sure that,
Can
we go through.
we check that this is correct, that this is the correct thing? I'd be more than happy to come and sign it. Post that. I just don't like signing
With the changes.
when there's changes, somebody who scratches down.
yes.
Okay, so,
Can
is there
We
a,
can approve.
yeah, is there a motion
We can
to
approve
approve
it,
this
yeah.
pending the
Yeah.
removal of that?
We look at this.
Approve a revised, kind of.
A revised
correct,
copy of this.
yeah, Clean version.
Clean version.
When does this have to be out? When does this have to be out?
it has to be submitted, because we moved our June meeting, it has to be submitted within like the next 2 days.
Yeah, I'll come back tomorrow or
Okay,
following
let
days.
me,
But
I
I'd
can
like you to check
actually
this.
also, I'll look at what's on the,
Yeah, because it's already removed on the one on the website.
yes, that's what
This
I'm
is
gonna
the
look at.
official document here, though.
The board can approve with.
You can print it out again.
Yeah.
So we have evidence that it's already
You
been.
can sign tomorrow.
Yep, yep.
Okay, so, is there a motion to approve?
I will make the motion.
All right, David, thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Molly. We'll take a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Okay, so, let me check.
And you'll follow up with me,
Do you know what
right?
page that is? Does it have-
It's page,
Or a section?
there's no page.
Who motioned, I'm sorry?
Section
David,
on-
David,
section on
motion,
item.
Yeah,
Molly,
section, you know.
Okay, thank you.
Section 11,
Okay,
section 11,
thank you.
paragraph 2.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to the executive director's report.
Okay, we've had a lot going on. There are two kind of major events are standing out to me. Right now, we are in the middle of summer school. We have approximately 100 students attending. Our summer school teachers are doing a great job. I am seeing a lot of instruction and intervention. We had a summer school meeting where we really talked about what summer should look like. Limiting screen time and doing a lot of those things, and so been really happy with how that's going. Also, we had a huge event here this weekend, so the board may be aware that our campus was called El Camino Real, and we had a visit mid-year from a longtime principal here. His name is Gene Bedley. He was principal from 1975 to 1995, and we gave him a tour. He told us that some of the former students were interested in doing a reunion, and we had it this weekend. I came in at about 2 o'clock. This place was so full, hundreds of people here. And they had a question and answer for a lot of their former teachers were here, as well as their beloved former principal. It was the love in the room, the love for the school was amazing. So I was able to kind of witness it. Also, then I spoke and letting them know all the good things that are happening here now. And they were very impressed, but I think what they liked the best was I shared that after I was done speaking, we had some students here that we opened up the rest of the school and they got to see their old classrooms. And I had the kids where I'm like, okay, we're gonna give the tour, and I whispered to them, I said, but I think they're gonna give us the tour, because the first stop in my tour, my half was, this was my classroom for 20 years, and they told me who built the bookshelves on the side and how everything was. And then the kindergarten teachers were both in my group too, telling me how many kids used to be in their class and what the school used to look like. It was very exciting. There was a lot of love. I do want to thank my staff, especially Mary Beth Chen. This was a big project for her to get them cleared to be able to do this. She put in a lot of time. They did recognize her because she was also able to attend. I want to thank, I'm sure Mr. Delgado will talk about it, but he was also able to attend. And it was just a great event. And then also, we did have a visit on the 12th from the president of CCSA. And it was a great conversation that we had. Mr. Delgado joined us for that as well. They were interested in hearing about some of our facility struggles. They were very supportive of everything that we're doing. They invited us to be part of some of their advisory council meetings, especially because of the dual immersion model that we have. So it was just overall a very positive visit. I was honored that they came to visit us because they don't do that very often. And so besides all that, I do want to thank the board. This agenda was a big one. Thank you. Thanks for your, for reading things and your support. And when I was typing this out to letter Q, I was thinking, oh my.
We never saw your letter Q.
Letter Q. I don't know if we've ever gone that far in the alphabet before, but thank you so much for your support and helping us to be compliant and get everything done that we needed to get done. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to board directors' reports.
Can I start as usual? So I just want to say that meeting we had with the association there, that one of the members there recognized me from many of my speeches that I've given at OCD and around town. So he actually recognized me. I was very flattered. So, but
Were you
I,
here before?
yeah, I was very flattered when he did, when he said that. But we got an email from the El Camino Real reunion families, right? I'm just gonna read just real quickly here. What an unforgettable day, shared at Irvine International Academy, formerly El Camino Real, on Saturday. Again, successful 150 former students, parents, and staff to reconnect and celebrate the school from 1972 to 2007. A lot of meaningful moments, heartfelt staff ceremony, question and answer with Mr. Gene Bentley. We fond memories of the Huggy Bear. So apparently, and you'll see it in the pictures, apparently they had this bear, Gene had this bear in the office that when some kids were not feeling well or not up to, you know, being in school that day, they could come into the office and get a hug from the bear. And apparently had some kind of treat there, you know, so the bear some kind of treat. So it was called Huggy Bear, and it was just a tradition there. Special presentation from Dr. Stephanie Henry and the student-led campus tours. That was fantastic. Highlight was former staff and students traveled all the way from England to come here and be a lot of laughter, conversation. Testimony of the lasting impact of El Camino Real and the so many lives here. They had a after-party celebration at Lamppost Pizza. They also played this game called Regal Bowl. So what happened was, so they had that event. They actually had an off-campus event, and they were here. Then they went to Lamppost Pizza. But the following day, they had a picnic here at the school where they actually played this game called Regal Ball. And I didn't understand it until the day we came to play with them. I brought my whole family. So there was a teacher, his name was Doug Regal, and he, I believe, was a math teacher at the time. I think 4th or 5th grade. And so what he would do is he made up like a baseball game. He made a baseball from masking tape from the classroom supplies and like a bat that he had made from masking tape. And they called it Regal Ball. Before class, they would go out to the field out here, out to the blacktop, and play like a makeshift baseball game, but because this ball just had no kinetic energy behind it, right? No matter how hard they swing and stuff like that, they really never, but it was enough to get the jitters out of them. Then he would bring it back into the classroom and do instruction and stuff. So it was referred to as Regal Ball. We got to play Regal Ball with them. Just a special thanks to all the staff here. And they did raise money for the alumni, raised money, and the leftover funds they donated to IIA. So just FYI, they did that. You know, there is pictures and videos that they've now passed on to us, so we should see some of that. Hopefully, post some of that on our website. They did send that. Anyway.
So
great.
How old are most of the people? 60 something?
No. The teachers are in their 60s, but the students probably in their, what would you say, 50s, 40s? Some younger than others, right?
Yeah, I would say.
Some were younger.
I would say
than
40s.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them. They were like, we were class of '86 for the 6th grade when we left, or 8th grade. So
yeah, because they were only up to 6th grade, I think, right? Here, TK to 6th. I think they were only up to 6th. I think. I don't think it was 8th grade. I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I think it was maybe 6th grade.
But anyway, some of them still live in the area. Yeah. I was talking to a student whose parents still live on this street, so just over here. Anyway, it was a great time. I was glad that we participated and had an opportunity to share. And the bottom line, I could see right away there was a lot of love in that school, and there still is here.
Good memory.
Yeah, yeah, still is. It's just passed on. There was a lot of love in this building, and there still is, so.
Thank you. All right, who's next?
Well, we thank you for sharing so many wonderful ideas. And I also want to give a shout out to Mary Beth. I know she worked on this reunion thing, and she realizes how important that is, about school life, and especially these people coming back. So I appreciate that. And I also want to extend my deepest gratitude to Dr. Henry. Thank you. Every time I look at your report and I see that you're so detailed, I see the time, the effort you put into each session, and you explained it so clearly and help us to get to know the entire school, how to run the school, and not just the administration part, it's also the detail with the parents and so on. So I also want to thank all the staff, all the teachers, the assistant, Principal Sridhar, and Ms. Song, and everyone that is in IIA, the effort that they put in. And I think that because everyone's commitment, including the parents, and we see the excellence in IIA. And so really, truly look forward to another year, even though we might encounter some challenge, but I know IIA always strive for the best. So we will be even better, whatever challenge we have in front of us. So thank you.
Yeah, just want to make a brief comment. Thank you, Dr. Henry and Mr. Schmidt, for wonderful job you have done for this calendar year. Because we are drawing to a conclusion, concluding calendar year 2025 through 26, right? I mean, this is probably the last board meeting in this calendar year. So this is the right time, for me as a board member to express my gratitude to you and to you all, and also the staff. A wonderful job you have done, and leading the organization to achieve a greater success. Every time when you're sitting here, we see a lot more exciting things, very good development. So, we feel very, very positive, very good about it. And, when we read through or approve some of the documents, I was like, oh, that's a lot of documents. Just putting all that together to read through and interacting with the legal team, that's a huge, undertaking. Yeah. So I really commend you on that achievement. It's not easy. Not easy. We are sitting here, we can quickly, skim through some of the documents, but for you don't have to go through the whole thing. And, sometimes with multiple iterations, right? And going back and forth with lawyers and so forth. It's not easy. Okay. Appreciate that effort. All right.
Next month will be better.
Yeah.
Because the fiscal year.
We're not going to have a queue.
Yeah, no.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
I think actually coordinating that reunion is really out of scope for what the school's about, and I love that. Because we're connected to the community. You know what I mean? It's like, you can see, like you're talking about, it's full time. I mean, all of the documents, all of the requirements we have to fulfill. There's enough to do just to focus on the school's core mission. But I love connecting with the community that way, and I hope that maybe that's, I don't know, it's every couple of years. I don't even want to throw it out there because someone has to plan that. But what an amazing opportunity for them to come here and reconnect. And I bet you the next time around, if there is another reunion, there'll be more people, because they're like, that was so much fun, you guys have to come this year,
Yeah.
you didn't come last time. And in fact, I was talking to someone totally
They
unrelated.
know we're open to it.
Oh, it's
Right,
great.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was talking to someone totally unrelated for some other things, they're very involved in charter schools, and they're on to other things with it, but it was just connecting with other people in the community here. And I was telling him a little bit about our school, and he said, I went to school there when it was, so he would have been at the reunion, I'm not sure if he came to the reunion, but he would have been at that reunion. And he said his grandparents lived down the street, and so it doesn't matter who we're connecting with in the area, and somehow there's some connection to here. And so it's just wonderful, I'm so glad that we did that, thank you for making that happen.
May I, propose later on, we can have a picture together, because this is the end of the school year.
Oh, yeah, we should have had that here.
And 10 years from now, when we have a
Yeah.
reunion here, we say,
We
hey,
can say we
we
had a
show that
picture.
on the screen.
Yeah,
How about that? Because this is the last board meeting of the.
You want a picture tonight?
we can do a picture.
Yeah,
together.
we should.
Are we close?
Yeah, because I was thinking about it 10
Like
years,
now?
and maybe we can have a reunion here, we can
That
show
would be
some.
great.
Yeah.
However we want to memorialize.
What do you think? Can we sign up?
I'm in,
Are
I'm
you,
in.
are you gonna commit?
And also, I know we've had a board meeting since, but I just want to say
Yeah.
again, that
After we-
school event that we had at Mariners
Yeah.
was wonderful.
The 5-year
The 5-year
spring
was
school.
wonderful. And thank you, Mr. Delgado, for once again emceeing that,
Oh,
and all of those folks that put that together. It was so much fun every year.
Can you wear that every day?
I used
Okay.
to.
It's recommended the board adjourn the regular meeting of the Irvine International Academy Board of Directors on June 23rd, 2026. The meeting, well, we gotta take a vote here.
Yeah.
So,
I'll make a motion.
yeah. All right, Dave's gonna make a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Philippe. We'll vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please say nay. Hearing none, it passes. Meeting adjourned at 9:13 p.m. And then per David's request, we're gonna take a picture here, if that's okay.
Okay. Who wants to take the picture?
Yeah.
We can use my camera.
Mason, amazing you do.
All right.
It's good. It's